Chapter 8, Fires on All Fronts. The city of Chicago breathed in unrest that week. Sirens wailed nightly, fires flared in abandoned lots, and whispers of violence crept through neighborhoods like smoke. Yet the six felt it differently. The war had become personal. Marcus, the weight of protection. Marcus returned home to find Kiara missing from her bed. Panic struck like lightning, his chest tightening. Searching the apartment, he heard a soft giggle from the closet. When he opened the door, the shadow appeared, this time larger, more human in shape, but its eyes burned red. "You think you're strong enough to guard them all?" it hissed. Marcus swallowed, hands shaking. He whispered Psalm chapter 91 aloud, and his fear coalesced into resolve. He stepped forward, voice growing stronger with each word. "He shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways." The shadow shrieked, vanishing into the corner of the room, leaving only a faint trace of smoke. Marcus collapsed to the floor, Kiara rushing into his arms. "It's not just about me," he whispered. "It's about all of us." Jasmine, the battle of faith. At school, whispers followed her down the hall. Students' eyes glinted unnaturally, some smiling cruelly, others frozen mid-motion. She remembered David's words from the corner, "Jesus, don't let the darkness win here." Jasmine prayed silently, pressing her hand against her heart. The enemy whispered temptations, mocking her calling. "Why do you bother? No one listens. You're just a girl with a book." Her voice rang out anyway, "I am not alone. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world." A wave of clarity washed through her classmates. The whispers dissolved, the frozen stares melted. She realized faith isn't only about defeating the darkness, it's about holding to God when no one else believes. Deshaun and Luis, the streets in flames. On the south side, Deshaun and Luis patrolled their usual block. Fires blazed in trash bins, groups argued violently over territory that wasn't even theirs. Shadows slithered between alleys, unseen but felt. "Malphas is moving them," Luis whispered. "He's coordinating it." Deshaun shivered. "So what? We just walk in there with prayers and hope they work." Luis nodded. "It's all we got." Together they stepped into the chaos, calling out scripture. Psalm chapter 144 and 2 Chronicles flowed from their mouths, the words piercing through the darkness. Flames flickered, shadows recoiled, and fists lowered. Even gang members paused, confused, as if some invisible hand had lifted the tension in their bones. David, the child in the storm. Back at home, David knelt beside his bed, clutching his notebook. The shadows from the church and streets had followed him in dreams, whispering threats, testing his faith. "Lord, I'm scared," he prayed aloud. But then he remembered his siblings, his friends, Marcus protecting Kiara, Jasmine standing tall at school, Deshaun and Luis walking the streets. "I may be small," he said, "but you are big. And I trust you." The shadows outside his window hissed, recoiled, and disappeared. A calm filled the room, momentary, but real. Malphas, the strategic strike. High above the city, Malphas hovered, the smoke of the fires curling around him. He had not expected the children to withstand simultaneous assaults on multiple fronts. His eyes, burning coals of fury, scanned the city like a general plotting siege. "They hold together too well," he snarled. "Divide them. Test their fears. Exploit their hearts. And when they falter, we take everything, their families, their neighborhoods, their hope." Below, shadows twisted, gathering. Chicago itself felt the tension, the city a chessboard, the kids the first pawns who had dared to fight back. The convergence. By nightfall, the six regrouped at the old church. Marcus carried Kiara, Jasmine held David's hand, Deshaun and Luis limped in, scraped but victorious. Pastor Elijah met them at the door, eyes steady but grave. "You've faced your own fears tonight," he said. "But the enemy is learning, adapting. This is no longer practice. This is war." They nodded, exhausted but unbroken. Jasmine opened her Bible, hands trembling. "We need more training. Stronger prayer. Stronger faith." We can't let him divide us. Elijah laid a hand on each of their shoulders. And you will not. Stand together. Stand in the word. And remember, he who is in you is greater than he who is in the city. Above the skyline, the fires still glowed. Shadows slithered along the streets. But beneath the light of the church and in the hearts of the 6, a spark had become a flame. The battle had widened, but so had their courage.